So our government was on its way to spending less money this year, and then it all fell apart. In the first part of this year, we were told the reason we're firing tens of thousands of federal workers and cutting billions of dollars in contracts was to safeguard the taxpayer dollar to make the government smaller and more efficient. But the government has spent more money this year than last year, and it will spend more money in 2026 than 2025. So what happened to the messaging coming from the Trump administration about reducing spending? Why is that not happening? Well, it's three things really. You have your interest, inflation, and mandatory government programs. That's what's doing it. What's not doing it are federal workers. Because if you made every single federal worker disappear today, do it tonight, snap your fingers, make them all disappear, you would save 6%, S-I-X, 6%. You still have 94%. So it's not the federal workers. One of the main areas that we're seeing increases in is when it comes to IT contracts. That's what we're spending the big bucks on. It will be $130 billion this year, which sets a record. And you know who's getting them? Not every agency is getting them. Number one is the Department of War. Number two is the Department of Homeland Security. That's where the money is going. And it's because they were authorized to spend more in the big, beautiful bill, right? Those are the two main agencies. There's some other smaller ones, but it's not all agencies, not even close. If you look at the biggest losers, the people that are not growing or being modernized, really, you can look at NASA, you can look at HUD, you can look at EPA, and there's the NSF, the National Science Foundation, among many other agencies. So if your agency isn't focused on war or defense or safeguarding prisons, then it's not a priority. And we've seen that with the hiring freeze. The only people that can get around the hiring freeze is if it's national security, immigration, public safety, or law enforcement. If you're not in one of those categories, it's not going to happen. So who's getting the money? You know, it's the usual suspects. You got your Lockheed Martin, you got your Leidos, you got your Booz Allen Hamilton. They're all lining up. And as they unlock this money, they're able to hire more. They have to hire more because they have to fulfill their obligations associated with the contracts. There's new contracts. So it's new hiring, new warm bodies. But this is a problem with the federal government because we are lacking contracting officers, the individuals that review to ensure compliance of contracts, the 1102 job series. Maybe you've heard of it. There's a 40% vacancy rate right now. We can't hire enough of them. How did we get here? Well, DOGE targeted acquisition. When it came to the layoffs, when it came to the cuts, the probationary purge, all of it. Acquisition was touched. 1102 is acquisition. It's contracting. So this is a problem. And right now, if you go on usajobs.gov, you can see they're hiring over 50 of them. Now, this is a unique job series compared to others because it takes a little bit longer to get started. 6 to 12 months, you need your certifications. Go through HR, get all the right certs, get into your position, and then after 12 months, you can start, rolling along slowly. Not just that, but you would see if you go onto the website, usajobs.gov, you would see that they're not using DHA, which is the Direct Hiring Authority. They're using EHA, which is the Expedited Hiring Authority. And there's some differences when you're comparing them. EHA, that's only for the Department of War. No other agency can use it. Also, with EHA, they consider veterans preference. So you might know DHA, the Direct Hiring Authority, they completely get rid of veterans preference. It doesn't even matter at all. But with EHA, they're still considering it. Also, EHA is more permanent and it's not temporary like DHA could be. Now, with these job announcements, as you're going through there, you're going to notice that some of them are roster or public notices. They extend from 6 to 12 months. Sometimes it's only 6. You have to read it. But you apply, you and everybody else apply, and they're holding on to the resumes. It's like a resume bank. They're just collecting them. And every 2 weeks or so, they pull applications and then they interview. So the way that it could work is you apply this month, but you don't even hear back. 4 to 5 months later, you check your email and you're like, what? They want me to interview on Wednesday? Yeah, they want you to interview, so go ahead and respond to them. Now, a lot of people, they've moved on already. They've already interviewed at like 6 other positions and they accepted one. So they just say, hey, I'm not taking it. But for other people, it could be a good opportunity. So even with record IT spending with these contracts, because we don't have the contracting officers in place, it means slower execution. And right now, I mentioned the 40% vacancy rate for 1102s. Because of that, you have existing 1102s, contracting officers right now that have to assume a greater workload. You can pretty much just envision that their workload has increased by 40%. Now, talking about slow execution, if you've ever worked with a contracting team, you probably are really familiar on how it goes. You have a timeline. You know, all the project manager milestones and the roadmap is built out. You have a timeline. But whenever they say it's going to get completed, that's not true because it's going to get extended. The timeline could get extended by months or years in some agencies I've been a part of. It gets pushed out for years and then it ends up costing a lot more. So we're seeing the cost this year, $130 billion, the true cost, and whether or not these systems actually finally get modernized in some of these agencies, well, that's yet to be seen. But it really is a shame looking at the situation, knowing that there's a big gap with 1102s. And it's not just them. It's a lot of job series, a lot of professionals in agencies that were there and now they're not. There's gaps there. And this is one of the reasons why I truly believe that on October 16th, the hiring freeze shouldn't be here. October 15th should be the last day of the hiring freeze. And if that's not the case, let's say it goes out to the end of the calendar year, it will jeopardize public safety, public health, and critical programs. It just will. Because you cannot continue to operate with these voids and pretend like it's not going to be an issue at some point in the near future. Now, in addition to this, if you're on the job hunt, if you're searching for jobs and applying every other day or every day, you could have realized or noticed, maybe you start to feel like it's becoming a lot more difficult. It's harder to get a job. You're not alone because it is actually a lot harder to get a job. Right now, if you look at all the unemployed people and you look at all the vacant jobs, the numbers do not align. They do not match up. If you gave every U.S. citizen who's currently unemployed a job, there would still be over 1 million people without a job. That's the way the economy is set up. If you want to know more about that, I want you to check this video out next. Stay updated by signing up to the free newsletter down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.